Honor. I always appreciated this company for bringing pretty good mid-range smartphones at an acceptable price. Not this time. This is the Honor 6E Pro. Let's see why. If you aren't familiar with this company, well, they're basically Huawei's child or little brother, or however you want to call it. They're pretty big here in Europe and slowly pushing to the States. But if you live here in Europe and still haven't heard of this new model yet, that's because it doesn't matter. Really now, Honor didn't even struggle to push it through marketing because they already knew this is a bad product. Let me get to it. Starting with the design, I think it might be one of the best things of this device. It's beautiful, especially in this blue finish, but it's still miles away from the design and build quality of the Honor 8 or 9. But it's half the price. I mean, we have a classic buttons on the right, hybrid tray on the left layout here, with an headphone jack on the top and the speaker and micro USB port on the bottom. Then we have a single camera on the back with the LED flash and the fingerprint sensor, which I have to say it's one of the fastest I've ever seen. I mean, really, I have to give it to Huawei and Honor. They have one of the fastest, if not the fastest fingerprint sensor out there. It's crazy fast, probably even too fast sometimes. You just touch it and it unlocks. Amazing fingerprint sensor, and it doesn't end there. The software is actually made to take advantage of the sensor, so you can scroll down to pull down notifications, or you can swipe to the sides to navigate through photos in the gallery. That's awesome, really good job here, I appreciate it. But here's where the good things end pretty much. Lastly, we have the front-facing camera with no flash in this case on the front, as well as the display and the Honor logo on the bottom. Not a big fan of the on-screen buttons where there's a chin to use, but anyways. Let's go to the display, and in this case we have a 5.2 inches IPS LCD display with a resolution of 720 by 1280 and a pixel density of 282 ppi. Man, I want to roast this device so hard, but I'll be professional and let you guys decide for yourself if this phone really delivers to the Pro name. I just want to throw a funny fact out there. My Nexus 5 from 2013 has a 1080p display with a pixel density of 445 ppi. Now, I somewhat get Samsung, they're using an AMOLED panel on the J5. That saves it, but here, come on. It's not the worst display out there, but coming from a company like Honor and at this price and with a Pro name, this is unacceptable. It looks a bit dull to me, and I can notice sometimes a little lack of sharpness. And yeah, if I said the Moto G5's display wasn't that bright, this is even worse. And the auto brightness is just useless on this device. The viewing angles are okay, but that's about it. This is not the best phone for media consumption, and not just because of the display. The speaker is bad as well. It has a very low volume and the sound itself is bad. It lacks any kind of low end whatsoever, and I dislike the way it sounds altogether. If we go straight to media creation, the story doesn't get any better. We have a single 13 megapixel camera on the back with an f2.2 aperture that is not good. It struggles to nail focus, the aperture is not as wide, so it either cranks up the ISO or slows the shutter speed to compensate for that, resulting in either noisy photos or blurry ones. The colors are okay and the exposure seems right, but again with those downsides from earlier. The biggest problem here is the overall lack of detail. It's awful. It looks like something taken with the 2012 phone. The thing I hate even more is the fact that it has a very slow shutter. If you're looking to grab a quick shot of something, most probably you lose it. It takes few seconds from the moment you press the shutter to the moment it takes the photo, and that's annoying. On the front-facing camera we have a similar story, sadly. Here we have an 8 megapixel camera with the same aperture and pretty much the same results, honestly. The cameras are so bad here that you struggle to tell which one is taken with which camera. Let's move to the rest of the hardware of this device, and I'm telling you, it doesn't get much better. We're starting off with a MediaTek processor. So let me get this straight. Huawei builds its own processors, which are pretty good, and they use them in the Honor phones as well, and when they didn't, they used Qualcomm ones. Yet in this device they've put a MediaTek processor and named it Pro. Really now, where's your Honor here? Anyways, more specifically we have the MediaTek MT6750, which is an octa-core processor that has 4 cores running at 1.5 GHz and the other 4 running at 1 GHz. We have 3 GB of RAM, and man, we'll be needing those, and finally 32 GB of internal storage, expandable via microSD, which is not that bad. On top of all this hardware stands EMUI, which is Huawei software running on Android 7.0, and I could bet it won't update to Oreo. The software itself is a heavy screen with an iOS-like home screen, although you can choose to have an up drawer if you want. I personally don't like it at all. The icons seem like they were grabbed from an iOS 5 failed design dumpster or something, and the apps aren't that well designed either. I don't know, it might just be my opinion. But I think of Xiaomi, and even though I didn't like their home screen, the apps were very beautifully designed. But anyways, thank God this is Android and everything is customizable, so you can download download another launcher, which is what I did, and you can download other apps to replace the stock ones. The only good thing I've seen of this software is the inclusion of the fingerprint sensor gestures. Honestly, there are just a lot of little bad things. I mean, come on, the calendar app doesn't support multi-window, this thing doesn't see my Bluetooth speaker no matter how many times I tried. I mean, dude, my BlackBerry 9000 from 2008 sees it, come on. And obviously the combination of this hardware and software delivers a mediocre experience. In my opinion, there's a gap in the optimization of the software for this hardware, and especially for this particular processor. As I said in the last video, it worked fine for the first week like any other new phone, but man, then it started to crash in some apps. Sometimes it would freeze and other times it would lag like crazy when multitasking. It doesn't always do that, but it happens enough times to get frustrated with it and to be sorry that you bought it, honestly. Yes, you can still play games on it, you can watch videos, you can browse the web, but don't expect great performance from this device, especially in multitasking. Battery life isn't that good either. We have a 3000 mAh battery inside. That might sound like enough, but it isn't, at least in my case. I was barely getting to the end of the day with like 5 to 10%. Most days I would have to plug it in by 6 or 7 PM for a little bit to be able to get to the end of the day, and it's not like it has fast charging or anything. Just so you can get an idea, my day starts at about 6:30 to 7 PM and it ends at about 12 AM. And in that time I read from it, I play some videos, I text a lot, I browse the web, I play some light games sometimes, and I use it as a music player in my car. That's pretty much my use. I don't consider myself a heavy user, so for me to say that the battery almost didn't last me a full day says a lot. But again, everyone has a different use. So that was my 2-week experience with the Honor 6C Pro. If something saved the Moto G5s from the low hardware, it was the software, but this is not the case here. I think the software isn't well optimized for the hardware in this case, and I also think the processor was a big mistake in the first place. But anyways, do I recommend this phone? No, I actually don't. I had a very disappointing experience with this device and I wasn't expecting it at this price. And talking about the price, it varies between 170 euros to 200 euros depending on the country you get it from. I got it for 170 euros when I got it, but it's currently 200 euros here in Spain, but it's still 170 euros in Germany. So yeah, it depends, but hear me out here. I wouldn't recommend this phone on either of these prices, it just doesn't make sense. At about 170 to 180 euros you can get the Huawei P8 Lite from 2017, which has a better processor, a better display, and in my opinion it has a better design and a better build quality. Or if you don't like the software, you can go for the Moto G5, the Redmi Note 4 or the Galaxy J5. There are various other better options for you out there to choose from. Anyways guys, I hope you liked this video and found it useful, and if you did, please give a like on this video and comment down below if you found it interesting. I would like to know that, and maybe consider subscribing to this channel as I post a new video every week, and that way you won't lose any of them. I thank you guys for watching, and until next time, take care.